are standing tall. This mother Russia will never know. But in our lives, that memory of us, it's just a shining bright. And give your love song with that power to fight. Crimson God, you came to lead us now into the blaze of victory immortal. Crimson God, stop the evil that keeps behind. If they lose, but standing is on our side.
Okay, so that's JosefVStalin, and welcome to, it's going to be a Napoleon online drop-in battle, and I'm going to display some of the drop-in features for you guys, because this is one of my most anticipated features of the game. And so far to what I've played, it's quite interesting. So I've dropped into this game. I'm playing as Portugal. My enemy is playing as the French, and I had no idea what I was going to going into this army. I had no idea what I had, what I was going to do. Whereas the enemy, he knew what I had, and he knows what he has. So maybe he has a little bit of advantage there, but that's okay, because I think I kind of like the unknown. I think it's kind of cool. But let's look over my Portuguese army. I've got 1 unit of militia, 4 units of Portuguese infantry, 3 units of these guys called triadodes, 3 units of hussars, 1 12-pound artillery, and 1 6-pound artillery, as well as a general unit. And as you can see, this map is kind of split into, there's these plateaus here, and I decided I would take the initiative and claim the high ground as fast as I could, so I sent my army all up to this little plateau here. Unfortunately, the cannons are lagging behind. So let's quickly dash over and look at the French. They have some dragoons, some chasseurs, cheville.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Which are like carabiners. Some voltigeurs, which are like your skirmishers. And then 6 units of French fusiliers of the line, and as well as he's got some infantry huddled up in here. He's got another carabiner squad, and some artillery, and then a howitzer. So you can see that he has a significant advantage over me. I'm kind of outnumbered here a tad. So I'm going to skip ahead until we get some action going on. So back to the battle. I've got my 12-pound artillery set up here, and I had my triadodes set up some spikes on my flank here, because they can get up from behind and in front and over here by the forest, but I think this area was the most vulnerable, so I had some spikes deployed there. As you can see, my guys are taking some damage from their artillery sitting up on the hill, but he has most of their units garrisoned in this building here, in this little house. And that probably is the most fatal move he made of the entire game. He just kind of sat there, just sat in the house, and my artillery was able to destroy it. My 12-pound artillery was able to destroy it quite handily. Is it going to go down? It's almost down. I should also mention that apparently this guy did not have a very good computer, so we set all the unit counts to low, so we only have like 40 guys in a battalion, which is kind of crappy. So, my howitzers are just pounding this house, and you can see his artillery is still trying to fire in at me. It's kind of the initial artillery bombardment phase, but there goes my cannon collapsing the house and destroying a good number of his infantry. Although for some reason down here you can see in this bar it says the advantage is significantly in his favor, which I did not understand. I was kind of confused by that, but regardless, at this point, I can see he's trying to deviously bring in some cavalry around the side. I want to see what he was going to do. I didn't know. I do remember that I brought my general up on this hill. And at this point I say, it's time to take the initiative. Let's get off this hill before we're bombarded to death. And I start moving my line infantry down to engage his now weakened forces. So here we go. I can finally see his cavalry coming in. So what I do is I charge and then run away, trying to lure him into these spikes here, trying to see if he would take the bait. Unfortunately, he didn't, and he stands off to the side and shoots some of my artillery. I aim my artillery to try and attack them, but they're gonna lose, and it's a sacrifice I was willing to make. Down here, I'm bringing up my line infantry to deal with some of his troops in the trees. And he's bringing in some troops over here, and I know it looks like my battle lines are in a little bit of disarray, but I had sort them out all nicely, sort them out all prettily, beautifully, but the computer or whatever decided that it was only going to listen to half of those orders, so they kind of got all screwed up. This battle was really laggy, and it's not reflected in the replay, but there was a significant amount of lag here, which disrupted my troop formations considerably. But as you can see, my infantry all nice and brought together, was able to force back his French troops. I send my Portuguese cavalry through this gap here to try and flank them. Over here, he charges his cavalry right through my stakes. After killing my artillery, he charges them right through, and I'm not sure what he was doing. He must have not seen those. And there goes his cavalry is shattered. So my guys burst through these trees here. Unfortunately, they took some damage from these Carabiners, these French cavalry. Took it to them, but it's okay, because they were able to break through, and they took some canister shot charging these cannons, but it's okay. Again, they were unstoppable. The Portuguese cavalry mowed down these French artillery units. And in desperation, he brings in his general to try and force back my units. And for a time, I actually thought it was going to work, because as you can see, some of them are wavering, and some of them were steady. But they quickly regained their morale and turned to face their general. And you can see the general right here, sword dueling with one of my cavalry, but my cavalry kills him, and down he goes. And my infantry continue to push forward in the front, while my cavalry are now rampaging in his flank. Killed his general. Now we're going to move in and take this 6-pounder artillery, neutralizing his artillery advantage. And now you can see the advantage has swung in now considerably in my favor, despite the fact that it was ridiculously against me a while ago. But unfortunately, I was unable to move my cavalry at the time. I kept trying to pull them back, but these Fusiliers caught them and started cutting them down into ribbons. And they almost neutralized my cavalry advantage, but some of them were able to get away. As you can see, some of them are still stuck in this battle, and they form up their line and start taking shots at my cavalry. But it's okay, because I'm bringing in the Portuguese infantry
Our men are running
to support the cavalry against these Fusiliers. Mighty battle formation here. Cutting down the French over here, who just are still trying to kill the cavalry. But by the time they turn and face my infantry, it's all but over for them. And they wrote. So I'm going to be back in a little bit. So here we have the final stroke. The last elements of the French army stand their ground over here, while the Portuguese army forms up and begins to shoot across the field, trying to eliminate what little French remain. And at the same time, I've got 2 infantry regiments coming in behind to flank them and seal the deal and essentially tie the noose. And it looks like he's trying to withdraw or trying to face to destroy my units, but it's all for naught. They get into line, and at the very sight of my infantry, the French flee, and the Portuguese were victorious in this random battle, and the poor guy will have to go back to the drawing map in terms of his campaign. So that was a drop in battle. There will be certainly be more in the future that you can look forward to. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you on the battlefield.